So, F3 vision. Let's go all the way with this one, right? What we're looking for right off the bat is going to be my router. This is my handheld. Okay, access point. Switch. We're gonna need, most importantly, we need this guy. Alright? These two, heartbeat of the whole operation. We're gonna get these up first before we do anything. We gotta make sure that we have solid internet. Something that we can work with. Alright? So, customer has a little bit of a crazy rack here. They have their audio, their TVs, and other stuff. A lot of these are blocked off. We actually could probably pull one of these panels off and actually make our own rack. But we do have a shelf available already. So we're gonna pop right into this guy. Let's start with a switch, or sorry, our router. Prop the router, antennae, ears if you want to mount it, single Ethernet cable, power. So what we're going to do, each of these pops on. Alright, and just like that, try to set up. Because we don't want to have to try to reach to the back and make this any more complicated than it needs to be. I'm going to power it. WAN port for our connection to their modem. LAN ports are going to be for our equipment. You have your SIM card failover. So we're going to put this in. I'm going to try and feed this through the back as best we can so that we're able to get a handle on this later on. And I should be able to see that momentarily back there. Okay. Power. You probably have to go up and over and out. Next time comes. Oopsies. Okay, that we don't have to do. Okay. But once we get these cables in, then we can adjust them later on. So I'm right here with this yellow. You're going to be all the way down here. Wait for a little link light. Tell us that we're good. Also got to make sure these aren't the ones set up for the phones. Nope, yep, we're going to be over. Oh, we don't have power in yet. So good. So this part we actually get started running properly. And then we should see that other port light up. There we go. We have our connection. All right. We're also gonna see that connection in the front. We're waiting for a solid white on this guy, right? So when you're looking at a network perspective, it's gonna be the customer firewall or router, the POS router firewall, and then to all your devices to maintain PCI compliance. So we want to make sure that nothing else touches behind this other than their point of sale equipment. And with that, we can then start doing all the equipment. So what we're going to do is we're going to start toning lines while that thing is provisioning. We have our beautiful, beautiful toner here. Yafa. Probably my favorite piece of equipment. Comes to networking. We might re-terminate this for them later on. I think that would be a fantastic idea. So you guys can watch us in action do that. Okay, we're gonna scan. Oh. phone. There we go. Okay. So here we are. Starting with, let's see how much I can bring this out without detaching any cables. There we are. I believe it's this black one down here. Ah, there's a switch. Okay. Switch it is one right here. Okay. So let's take this one out, make sure that's on. This is that one. Because there's no link light. Another way of being able to tell is that when you're hooked to the switch and you're also hooked up to your toner, you will not have a link light. But you also could have other ports that are inactive. So don't always use that as your, tell-all. Okay, so there's that one. We need to get the toner again. There we go. Any luck? This will be that kind of that same naming scheme when we get in the back. Separate line cable. Sensitivity. Okay. I wonder if no. Okay, those are probably for cameras. Okay. Run that same. We lost a link light over here on this one. There we go. So we got both of those two. So we'll keep that in mind. I have to put a label on that. Don't have anything immediately available, but I will remember those two things. There's only 3 different pieces of equipment for this installation, so not very much to remember. And I believe the next cable above it is point of sale. The one we were just pulling on. Something over here has to be Ethernet. Wait, what am I telling you? I'm not telling you anything. Alright, let's move this over so it's a VoIP phone, so we can't confuse that with what we're actually trying to accomplish here. Interesting. Oh, this is one of those point of sales that has a mother terminal, as I like to call them. It means that all the communication goes through this device. There we go. So I'm going to take this guy offline real quick. We'll have our 3 cables. One that says line, black one, and then should be, there we are. You can also kind of see right there, if you can see what I'm looking at, whereas there's no light, what I was kind of talking about earlier. And this one actually has a label on, so it says POS. So we have our 3 cables. We have our POS, line, and line. So it's fairly easy. Take a look at how we're doing in here. We are still all red on this. Okay. So normally it doesn't take that long for this to come online. Just make sure our connections are good. We have that going into the back. One of the things that could be happening is that they have a static set up for their Comcast. So we're gonna have to go find out from the customer right now if that's the case. If that is the case, we'll have to get this provisioned out, set up on static. Otherwise, the only option that they can do otherwise is going to be going self-managed, but then they won't have their own Wi-Fi dedicated to the point of sale that comes from the provider. They have to set their own up. So we're gonna find out real quick. So we got to switch out. I want to break into this one. What's nice about some of these point of sales is they send you cables. I use a little guy to take my connection from the switch to the router. So get that out. I'm going to power up the back side just like I did for the router. And then once I get this all assembled, see if I can do the cable management. It is very tight. But I can surely, let's do this. Let's do the cable right now. Okay, so we have our connection from our switch. Just gonna go talk to all of our equipment. Into LAN 1 of our router. And then if I can get these to sit nicely on top of each other and fit, and that way I can feed those other 3 cables through the backside, we'll be really good. In really good shape because I don't think we have much distance on those other cables we have coming in here. So I'm gonna go as far back with this as I can. Something is fighting me. Okay. I'm gonna tag this guy along the left-hand side and get him as exposed as possible. Here he goes. Boom, plugged in. And I have my 3 cables that I need. All right. So he has 2 different kinds here. He has the ones with the guest facing display. So we're gonna leave this one up here. And then we have our Toast payment app. And our wonderful little toolkits, which we'll discover in detail in a moment. Don't need any of this. We'll also use this box to repurpose as this old point of sale. Now let's get this one open. That's more like it. Payment device is already built in. Got a new Ethernet cable just for giggles, and then we also are going to need a printer. And this will complete the setup for this one in the back here. And you know what? We're leaving another one of those point of sales up in case you need to make any changes or cost comparisons. We can make that happen. Simply slide up, pull off. Only cable I want from this is going to be this guy right here. I'm actually just realizing I did not tone this yet, but I believe I actually already saw this cable. So there's that. Keyboard. And then power, we're running down and below. So take these two guys right here. Very well organized. Okay, what do we got? Boom. We're going to unhook from this side, which will probably be a lot easier. That's our printer communication. Okay, there we go, beautiful. One is still here. And you can usually leave this actually untapped. Keeps the cable a little bit more managed. Alright, and then once we're done with that, flipping over, and we're just matching up colors at this point. Orange on orange, red on red. It's nice because if you don't have the printer and you just have a standalone terminal, orange on the power brick, it's also the same thing. This TP200. All different functionalities. Right? The USB-C on this shares not only power but internet. Right? And then has this internet feed in. It can also share with two other devices. We might put that access point back here because he says he's not going to be using the handheld up front. So we might run the Wi-Fi out here, or we might actually just throw it on the router because we don't really need it up front, he said. It also has a very good distance. So even if they did have to use it temporarily up front, they could surely make that work. Alright. And then what we're going to talk about is finding this last cable here. It's one of those white ones that comes from just because these cables are all brown down there, I can clean them up. So we use it right now and need this as an extra for him. Right now I'm trying to get everything up and running because they are actually not closed for business today. They are going to be going straight through. So once installation is complete, they are pretty much going to be live. Alright, let's see if I got this. Enter not. Let's go see if I can find it. Very simply. They go up there spooled and then they run into here. And then I believe they run down this pipe. Is it? Actually, no, that is two white ones. Okay, so I know how to find out which ones they are. So what we're going to do is this. I have those two right here. I'm going to see which one turns off. I I unplug this? Have the link light right now? Yep. Okay, I'm gonna take that out. And it is cable number 1. We'll also verify the IP address when we get done. Oh, now we have to get back into this thing in here. Go. Throw this in. Beautiful. Okay, and then we'll make sure there's the correct IP right after. Turn it on. Alright, we ran into a little bit of power problems, but we're all better now. So let's continue on. Where does this guy go? I'm feeling he runs around the wall over here. That might be a small problem because hopefully pre-existing point of sale had a power brick. There it is. That is long enough, and it will be. The one with our current point of sale is not very long, so we're gonna just have to move it. We're gonna have to shift this stuff for him a little bit. So we're gonna cut into it right here. And then we're still gonna re-terminate this cable later on. Make sure distance on that too. Terminate that because I don't know how long it's like that. It feels like there's no cable actually covering until this, so I don't know if I actually can re-terminate that and still make it just as clean. I think they wrapped it like this the whole way because it was stripped. So that is a problem. We like to make it at least a clean, nice transition. Always reuse the old because there's probably a good chance they have a decent amount of paper in them, as well as the ink. These always spinning and tightening before placing in. Left to right snap, done. Alright, cool. And we're just nicely boxing that up for them still. Still in that process.
At F3 Technologies, we build a team that gets to work in new places, solve real problems, and do what they're great at. We support our people on the road, how they travel, how they work together, because this isn't just a job, it's a team. Their skills matter, their voices are heard, and what they do has a real impact. If you like hands-on work, seeing new cities, and leveling up, this is the environment we've created. We invest in our people, their growth, and their future. If you're ready to take your career seriously, and see the country doing it, come build with us.
Okay, turn on. Turn on, thank you. So let's do the handheld and the access point. Alright, let's do the access point. And then maybe we'll get it on the wall for him, like right here, something nice. But for right now, I think we have a non-PoE switch, so I need the injector for this. Let's go find out where that guy went. Here it is. There's that. He has the handheld pulled out. Cool, 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 cool. Okay, so we have to make 2 connections here. Here's make 1 connection to our point of sale router. There's cables in there too if I need them. 1 connection to our point of sale router into the injector. This is power over Ethernet. So now we have an Ethernet connection to this route access point right here. But it will also give us power over Ethernet. Boom. And there's a cable inside. So I didn't need to run and try to chase down these black ones. Okay. So I have these here. Cool. Let's run. I'd like to have this inside the box, close as possible to the actual device. And that way when I manage the cables, it's good to go. Show me that green. Beautiful. Then the 2 different sides. LAN in, PoE out. So LAN in needs to come from our point of sale switch, which we've been having a lot of fun doing today. Connections too. We have to feel our way on this one because this is just getting hard to do. It'd be nice if some of these cables had a longer lead on them. Then I could have pulled this whole rack out, but we were trying to not take anything down. We're trying to put things up today. So, got a brand new run. Get that plugged into here. And then let's get our... Nope, wrong side. Wrong side. Switch. PoE. And then I will take care of that momentarily. Should light up nicely. In case you can't see it, there you go. Do, 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 do. Oh, the perfect amount of length. We like that. I'm gonna have to manage this in a second because they are. What time is it? Oh, they are 9 minutes to open. So, cable cable is managed at the end. We need to get signed in and programmed here. All right. So boom. Boom, 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 boom. Cleanup can also happen at the end. Let's get the devices configured now. I'm going to do a couple of administrative things. So we're looking for the last 3 of the serial number. 045, continue. Error occurred, of course it did. It's because we took too long. We'll be running around doing a bunch of other things momentarily. Sometimes that error can also happen, even though the error has been located. So we'll find out about a second. It doesn't show up this time. Okay, boom. Oh, we're going to have to address that momentarily. So let's just get this going right here. Let's get all the updates downloaded.